Hello, thank you so much for joining us to talk more on Monday. This podcast was started to give a voice to More's mission of making opportunities reachable for everyone, and continues today as a way for us to share the mic with like-minded individuals with their own stories to share. Talking More has become our channel for history, mindsets, information you need, and featuring our interns who are learning how to share their voice. Join us on Patreon for our Masterclass with More, hosted by Bria Bradley, as she deep dives with experts on a host of topics key to building your business and legacy. You'll find our founder content hosted by our founder, Arianna, as part of our Masterclass, where business owners share lessons they've learned while in business. This month, we're diving into business and women making history. In this conversation and offline, we get a sneak peek at what's to come in our upcoming Issue 12, Cerebral. With that, let's talk more with part intern and new contributor, Kaitlyn Courtney, and CEO of More, Arianna Cruz. Thank you so much for being here, you guys.
Yes, thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
I always feel funny saying thank you for having me when I help curate the content with you.
Right.
So thanks for accepting my idea of having me. I appreciate it.
It's an honor, truly.
And I feel like, Kaitlyn, I just want to keep you around forever. You're an intern, you're part intern, past intern soon. I love having you around. So thanks for wanting to come back and hang out with us.
Yes, no, you guys are amazing, for real. Amazing.
Yeah, and you have already contributed so much to More, so thank you. But it's really exciting to have you here today in our gorgeous new studio. We're very excited to get to host the podcast here, so shout out to our hosts for allowing us to use this gorgeous space. And we are going to get into Issue 12 with you guys, which we have Arianna, who curates our content. We're going to talk about what Issue 12 Cerebral is all about, and Kaitlyn, who is one of our contributors, is going to talk about her piece. So let's get into it, but first, let's talk about our guests. So Kaitlyn Courtney is a writer and photographer working at the intersection of identity, culture, and belonging. An Asian American adoptee, she grew up moving between worlds, shaped by questions she did not always have language for. Her writing reflects that tension, approaching adoption and selfhood with clarity, restraint, and refusal of easy answers. I love that. She is a graduate,
Fabulous.
right?
Oh my gosh.
She is a graduate of the Kelley School of Business, a friend of ours, where she studied business management with a minor in legal studies. Her photography is fashion forward and editorial in tone, defined by bold styling and deliberate visual narratives. Across mediums, her work centers complexity and invites conversations that are often minimized or left unsaid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
And if you're looking for her online culture creator with a K on both of those on Instagram for that bold, visionary capturing, it is fantastic.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
And Arianna Cruz, if you guys didn't already know, is the CEO of More Magazine and a community connector dedicating to making opportunities reachable for everyone through education, inspiration, and intentional conversations just like this one. As the director of market development at Counterpart, she leverages her expertise in business development and passion for social impact to bridge the gap between startup and social impact sectors, focusing on scaling positive impact through innovative technology. A proud Indiana University Kelley School of Business alumna, Arianna is actively involved in numerous organizations, demonstrating her commitment to community service and continuous learning. What an honor to get to talk to both of you.
As long as you're not sick of it yet, Chloe, we will always be here.
I mean, after 20 years, I'd be surprised, but...
That's true. That's true. We've been friends for 20 years. Can you believe that?
How'd you guys meet?
No one do the math on that.
Yeah, don't worry about how old we are. We met in the first grade.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
It's actually more than
That's
20
very
years
cool.
because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't do the math on that. No one, no calculators, no
Worry about
mental math.
But I am so excited that we are on issue 12 of More Magazine. I mean, I remember when you approached me about the very first one and how far we've come and how many pieces we have got to share with our audience and how many people have gotten to collaborate on it and create such important stories. Leading up to being here with you guys today and talking about issue 12. So let's get into it a little bit. Let's talk about the theme of issue 12, cerebral. How was it chosen? What does it mean? How did we get here?
How did we get here? What an excellent question for everyday life.
Right?
I always joke that the theme for the next issue comes normally the week leading up to the launch of whatever issue we're on. And so I called you after the last pre-launch because I had been thinking about it on a roundabout on the way to Old National Bank corporate office. And I wonder why it comes up for me in that way, but I think it's the excitement and all the conversations of the people who I know I'm going to see that evening.
Right.
And so I think in the last 2 years, I have been such a mindset junkie. I'm just taken in literally anything I can about like expanding the way you think, the choices you have available, whether you know that they're available or not, and how you can figure out more of those. And so when I think about mindset, I'd called you and I was like, I really want to do something around like the brain, our mind, and not even necessarily from a scientific point of view, because that's not us. We're not a medical journal. So
right,
you're on the wrong podcast if you're looking for the medical journal.
I mean, it's like peer reviewed in that we read each other's articles.
Absolutely.
But none of us have any letters after our name. So get that straight.
Period. And so I was talking to you about it because I was like, we're so complex. We're so dynamic as people. We're multi-passionate. We are so creative. We are so empathetic, and we're social creatures. We were talking about that today. Mm-hmm. And so I really wanted to do a piece that emphasized that. And our spring issue, April, is always our open issue. Yeah. And so while we focus on women and those voices specifically in our October issue, because we like to keep it as far away from March to keep the conversation going, I was like, what is a good topic that is all-encompassing, that does touch everyone and anyone in very different ways? And so that's kind of how we landed on this mind piece of it. And as you and I were talking, we came to cerebral, which I think is such a beautiful, I think that's such a beautiful word to describe like the thing inside of our skulls. Mm-hmm. And it reminds me of like the aurora borealis. Like when I hear cerebral, that's what I think. I think of all the things that we can see and not see, but know exist and know that they shape us, and how those turn into tangible things that make us who we are and how we pour out and into others. And so that's kind of where that theme originated from. I'd love to hear your thoughts, because you got that fresh off the cuff from me when I was high off of the evening of pre-launch, of getting to see you work the room, which I love our pre-launch parties. I love how many of our interns return, how many students come, how many community partners we have. It's such this beautiful space of intergenerational connection, inter-career, just there's so many different reasons why people come to our events, and I am forever in awe of the way that we attract those different people. Yeah. But I'd love to hear from you, because I feel like I was coming off of a bit of a high after that night of connection.
Yeah. Well, I think you touched on something very real in that what we do is cultivating a sense of community. We're allowing people to come together to share their voices, and it's so important because we all only live inside of our own minds. Mm-hmm. We only have our lens, and the more that we connect with other people, the more that we read their stories and we think, I have had that exact thought, or that has happened to me and I reacted that exact same way. We feel seen and we understand ourselves and our own inner mechanisms better. And what's more important work than, understanding ourselves and the way that we do things and the way that we interact with others. So when you talked about this idea, I think it's so universal, because everybody has to exist inside their own minds, mm-hmm. and everybody has to do that hard work of figuring out what that means. And it also opens up this theme so that the pieces can be so varied. Even when we're in that brainstorming process, it can connect in incredible ways. And we also previously talked with Ladina Brown about curating content and how there's these common themes that we find, even in things that we don't think are going to connect at all. All of a sudden we take a step back, we look at the big picture, and we're like, wow, there are so many through lines to this. So I think that was really what excited us about this concept, is that it can be so many different things to so many different people. But at the end of the day, it's about existing in our minds and sharing that experience with others.
I love that. And before we go on, I don't know, am I going to say this every issue now? I don't know. I feel like every issue I'm like, wow, this fully encompasses everything I wanted for more. Like, we just keep reaching and climbing, and it's beautiful. And I also feel like a dweeb because I'm like, wow, 5 years of business. I can't believe we're here. But I need to get out of that almost, honestly. And like, I know you're starting your business. And so I hope that each year it's like, yeah, we knew we were going to make it here. Because sometimes it's hard to not feel that it's like, wow, we made it. Holy cow. Can't believe it. OMG. Because it's exciting and it's yours and you have so much pride in it. But also I feel like I want to challenge myself to be like, yeah, we've been new. Now, like, what next? Like, how does this continue to compound upon itself and build?
Yeah.
But I do think cerebral as a theme is, I think it's going to be game changing. I mean, you can quote me on that. I'm saying it live and recorded, so it's on the record. But when people ask about what is more about, what kind of content do you curate and who's your target audience? Because I'm a baddie in marketing as a background. And I know that I'm annoying because I've made this publication that isn't meant to target anyone specifically, except that it's meant to serve as a space of connection for people. Like, I want you to read it and I want you to have your mind expanded because you're hearing another perspective. All of our articles, if you're new, they are almost all personal narratives. We have facts, we got figures when we need them, but truly it is the truth as experienced by individual people. And I think with cerebral, to your point that we all have to live inside of our brain, we also all have to live our own truth. And when you get to read somebody else's experience, it might be different than yours, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because now you know, like, another perspective. Like, right now we have like the 2 cameras set up, we have the 3 of us sitting here, and we're all in the same room, but these are 5 different viewpoints that are completely different and are going to experience this moment in an absolutely different way than one another, even though we are like 3 feet apart.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the coolest things in life, to be able to start seeing from those different lenses.
Yeah. And it's only going to make you grow to consider something that you've never experienced before, something that could not possibly have occurred to you because it doesn't happen in your life. It doesn't happen in your body. So reading about somebody else's completely different experiences, but still being able to relate to them on a personal level, that's what it's all about, you guys.
Truly.
Yeah. But on that note, we have Kaitlyn here, who is a contributor to issue 12. So I want to talk about curation in general, how you came to write your piece, how after 12 issues, we are curating this content, how we're finding people to share their stories. So do you want to talk a little bit about how you came to write your piece?
Yeah, whenever I did my past internship with Arianna, we had talked about me doing a piece in the next issue about Asian American adoptees, because I am one myself, and I know various others among Indianapolis and the Indiana region. So the main focus for this piece would be the fact that even though we all are Asian American adoptees, we do have our own different stories. And a lot of people think that our story starts whenever we first came to America, whenever in reality our story started in China, you know, like in the orphanage, even before that, whenever we were born, basically.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just don't, I feel like, understand that to an extent. They just see us like, oh, you know, like, you should be grateful, which we are, but at the same time, it's like we did have a past before that. Like, it's not just all sunshine and rainbows. And the fact is, a lot of us can't even remember all of it to really process it in a way that other people can, I guess you can say, in different scenarios.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I think when you're a child, it's so easy to form, you know, these neural pathways, and trauma is a big indicator, especially in early childhood development. So, you know, going through something like that and getting into a positive environment and, you know, coming into a home is fantastic. But of course, there's going to be baggage that comes with that. There are assumptions that people make that aren't true.
Yeah.
You know, this lens that people force onto you. So getting to share like your authentic experience is so important.
Yeah, and whenever I first was thinking about how I wanted to portray, I guess, the Asian American adoptee experience. I was like, should I tell my story? Should I tell like the history of it? Should I, reach out to other people? But I wanted to reach out to other people because I felt like that was the main idea of it all, was the fact that every one of us has a different story. And even me growing up, I thought that it was kind of all the same as well until I actually talked to other adoptees and they told me their stories. And I was like, wow, like that is completely different from mine. Like that is insane, Like I know one girl, she did 23andMe and she was like, yeah, I woke up one day and my birth parents were on there and they reached out to me. They were like, yeah, we've been looking for you all these years. Like, you were stolen from us. Because that's the whole thing about it, too. Yes, it gets, there's a lot of articles with, like, the government officials, not even just in China, but, like, other Asian countries, doing it for the capitalism side of it, But another girl that I also reached out to, she did 23andMe as well, and she didn't find her parents, but she found her siblings in the U.S. that were also adopted, and one of her sisters did the digging. I guess, I don't know how she did PI, I guess, something, and I don't know, yeah, but found her parents, and their parents had sold them to the black market whenever they were babies.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they had like 8 kids in total. I think they like sold like 3 or 4 girls to the black market whenever it was during that time period with the one-child law.
Yeah. That is hard to imagine.
Yes, and I'm like, that's insane, because I guess for a lot of us, like, some of us say, oh, I don't want to find my parents, oh, I don't want to do this and that, just because it is traumatizing, but I feel like for me, mainly, I just want to know the truth. I feel like that's a lot of adoptees just want to know, like, the truth about what actually happened, you know?
Yeah, because otherwise,
piece of your story.
Just have like clarity on it, because a lot of us are told like, oh, you were abandoned at the post office, at the hospital, just at like random places, and it's like there's no one really fact checking these things. It's just like the officials saying this is where you were, okay?
Right. Yeah, and I feel like especially when you go into fields like marketing, journalism, sharing your story, you want to know the truth.
Yeah,
you have to know the truth, and it's a very powerful thing, regardless of what you do with that information, whether it's just for you to personally process or to share with the world. The truth is a powerful thing. Yeah.
And I think it's especially because I've gotten to know you from like your creative endeavors, and you've shared some with me, and when we were talking about this piece, I thought it was really cool because of, I'm going to say the three of us, like, we don't naturally incline ourselves towards that math engineering side. It's more of these creative ways that we work through and find some of these dialogues, because I know when we first started talking about it, you were giving me more of the visual side, which I can't wait to see these photos. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I won't give too much away, but when I had initially asked you, because you are a phenomenal creative director, I was probing a little bit of, would you want to direct a story? Would you want to direct a dialogue around a topic that means something to you? And you'd come back the week later and said, I have this idea for this visual. I don't know what the story is yet, but I have this visual on this concept, and it's related to me. And the more we talked through it, it was really cool to hear how you were planning to reach out to other people, how you wanted to tie your own self into it. And it started with that visual piece. And I think that's so beautiful, especially as like we have these ideas of concept, and I don't want to keep saying creativity, but truly it's these images that come to mind to help us understand different pieces of ourselves, and then tying that to words and others' voices and stories. It's just a really incredible thing, and I don't often feel like I get to see the reverse engineering of that done as often as I would love to. We normally start, and to answer some of your question, like when we curate, we normally start with the writer's side. We have a lot of writers who pitch us, which always happy for pitches, can send them our way. But to have it in that reverse engineered way was really cool. And to see you do it, especially like towards the end of your internship, as we've gotten to explore different ideas and try different things, see what works, what doesn't work. I'm thinking of those Instagram trial reels that we were dabbling with. But it was really cool to see it done in this way where you got to connect a piece of you to others with similar but different lived experiences in this real time of creative flow.
Yeah. I cannot wait to see this piece.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. It's going to be a juicy one. Can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek on some other pieces that might be featured as part of issue 12?
Would love to. So cerebral, again, is very broad. We're expanding our minds. We're expanding the theme as we always do in this broad way. And so we have Kaitlyn's story, which I'm so excited for. We've talked about how it's hard to talk about this organ in our head without talking about mental health. So we have a couple of pieces that will touch on mental health. We've had on a couple of therapists on the podcast, and so I'm excited to dive in further into that.
Yeah.
We've also been looking at this idea of us being social creatures, the way we crave connection, and so you're going to be joining us as a writer this issue, which I'm so excited about.
Yes, I'm excited to come back. I love writing pieces for more. It's a muscle that I haven't gotten to flex often in my adult life, but it's really exciting to get to be a contributor. And every piece I write becomes so personal, even when it's not about me at all.
It's hard not to, though. And I think that's like the really cool piece about it, because one of the biggest questions we always get is, why do you do a print magazine? It's 2025. It's 2026.
Just put it on the internet.
Right. And I say that jokingly. I welcome the question, because it is... We're kind of weird for doing it. Why are we doing it? But you have this piece of you that exists beyond you, and you get to share that, and you get to give that to somebody. And your mom wrote for us very early on. And that I remember when I asked her, I was like nervous about it, but I loved hearing the way that she spoke about grief, and it solidified things for me in my life that I did not recognize I had inside of me, because I think we all suffer grief, whether it is life and death in that way, or the loss of something. It can be a friendship, it can be a marriage, it can be so many different things. And I think when I asked her that, like, sometimes it feels selfish to me, because I love these stories. They are often conversations that I feel like we're having in our day-to-day life. I know a lot of these that come up as we have folks who pitch them to us, they're often exploring that concept actively in that time.
Yeah.
And so I've loved getting to have this curation and true, I don't know what the right word is, this, I'm thinking of like the cave drawings on the wall. Nicole M.L. Sharp from Long Sharp Gallery, she curated an exhibit called the I Was Here. And it reminds me a little bit of that, where you are giving a piece of yourself, your identity, that is made up of the people who've come before you and all your experiences and all the different things you've lived. And you're solidifying it in such a way that you get to share that with other people. And so when I think about how we curate it, and I might have lost a third of your question now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's really cool that we get to bring those pieces together. So yes, we have the social creatures piece of it. We have Kaitlyn's story. We have this idea of community and how we're seeking community in today's world, especially after college, after you get started in your career, and what that looks like and how that serves you. And then we also have, what does that look like with yourself? What is trust within your own mind look like? Because to your point, like, we kind of get siloed up here. So if you don't trust yourself, then what does that really look like? And how can you grow that trust to better believe, have more confidence, and really lean into who the heck you are every single day? So I'm really excited. Cerebral is a huge topic. I think the more we've talked about it this morning, I'm realizing what a big undertaking that is. But I'm excited for it to be the tip of the iceberg in the conversations that can stem from it.
Yeah. And as a bit of an aside, you mentioned that people question why we still print the magazine. Print media is getting lost a little bit with the internet. People think, I published it on my website, so it'll last forever. We don't know that. And if it becomes physical and somebody can go get it out of the reference section of a library, that is a powerful thing. And it creates almost a time capsule of media that you can pick up and hold in your hands, and that is a powerful thing. So, I think that is part of why we still continue to publish, is because it becomes a real thing.
Yes, absolutely. And I think to that point even of having it and touching it, I remember our first issue we put out, we got DMs, and it grew a lot faster than we thought it was going to, truly.
Yeah.
And we got messages from different people who said that they had ripped out pages and put them in their pocket to hold on to. And I talk about this way more than I should. But I remember hearing that, and like my heart hurt a little bit, because I was like, it took me so long to put that magazine together.
You're ripping it?
Right. You're ripping it. You're dog earing pages. But no, it's a beautiful thing, because you felt so connected to something. You want to have it with you.
Right.
What a freaking honor. Like, that is That is so incredible and truly the highest compliment. And I remember a couple years ago from now, I got photos sent to me from past interns. They said they were doing a vision board night with a women in business group. And so they said they took magazines that they had as part of this vision boarding. And so in my mind, slightly selfishly, I'm like, these beautiful magazines are going to have scissors and glue and rips just taken to them. In my heart, again, I was like, ugh, the artistry that goes into these. Because it's a work of art. And huge shout out to Chi. She is one of our past interns, and she does such a beautiful job laying these out.
She does.
But moreover, I got photos of different rising women's vision boards, and I saw so much more on them, and I just got chills. To be part of a publication that tomorrow's leaders are putting as who they hope to be someday, I have no words for that. I think that is absolutely phenomenal, and it's nothing with me. I feel like I have a small part of like helping bring people together, because I've been very adamant. Like, I never want to write in the magazine because I don't want, like, I want to be a platform. I want to be the basket that holds all of this dope, fresh bread that gives life, and you start conversations with, and you break bread together, and you come together. And so I think that's always interesting when we think about print, when we think about how people consume our print, consume our art form, and how they take it with them in all these different ways. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I was absolutely going to bring up the cutting up magazines for vision boards, for, junk journaling even. Like, I think junk is a reductive term when we talk about those journals, but it becomes something different than it was, something beautiful, and it becomes its own separate work of art when it's pieced up that way. So even if they are taking scissors and glue to it, I still think it can become something so cool.
Truly, it becomes a new life form on its own.
Yeah. Kaitlyn, I want to circle back to you for just a moment and ask you just to share a little piece about what it was like to pick up the pen and share your own personal narrative in this.
Okay. Honestly, I haven't written in a while since this article. The main writing I've done in my life has been for school.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely different having just the topic being open-ended, I guess.
Yeah.
Because usually, in school we're used to, okay, write about this, write about that, give me a thesis statement, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Cite your sources.
Yes.
Intro, body.
Literally, conclusion,
Yeah.
So it was definitely different. I think it was kind of freeing in a sense, because even whenever I was in school and that happened, I actually liked it, just because it's not that I didn't want to think about what to write, I just never knew what to write about, So it was nice thinking back on having that question make me kind of think back on my writing style and then how I grew up and what writing meant to me, and being able to use it as more of a creative outlet now than just oh, I'm writing because I have to write.
Yeah.
So it's definitely mind-opening, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Was it hard to... Sorry.
No, you're good.
Was it hard to, because I feel like you're a photographer and model, so often you have a lot of experience being in front of the lens and behind it. And so to write something so personal, to your point, did you feel any similarities into how you capture people on film versus being in front of it and being the one writing? You are writing about other folks' experiences too, but to write about something so personal, did it feel similar in that way of when you're photographing versus being photographed and how you're captured?
In general, or?
Yeah, when I think about writing, a lot of... Chloe, your stories have actually been pretty 50-50 of doing some research, interviewing other people, but then also things that are very personal to you.
Right.
And so in the way that you capture people in fashion, we'll stay there for a second, you capture designers, but then you also model designers' clothing. So when it's turned back on you, and in the way that this story's turned back on you alongside other people, what did that feel like to you?
It's definitely, I guess, more meaningful in a sense, just because it is not just my story, but other people's stories, and just kind of hits home because it's not something that isn't talked about, but it is not talked about as much as other things. It's more niche. So I will say that this piece specifically is just, sorry, I'm trying to think.
You're okay.
I don't know, because whenever I'm doing more fashion type things, it's more of like the creativity in general. Like, oh, like I think this will look really cool or this will look good. Like it's more of just feeling good and looking good to in my perspective, I guess. And then like for this project, it's more emotional, I feel like. And I'm not usually like, yeah, I can shoot more emotional pieces and model more emotional pieces, but that's not what I usually tend to do. It's more just like fashion forward. So it's definitely different, and I think that it just means more in a sense to not just me but also the girls. Like obviously like it means a lot to me, but I don't think I realized until I actually like reached out to the people how much it means to them as well to get their story across. Like I had a lot of the girls be like, thank you so much for including me in this. Like, you know, I've never been a part of something like this, especially for Asian American adoptees. Like it's really cool that you're doing this. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like that just, it hit different. You know, like how you said whenever people actually like recognize it and you're like, okay, like let me take a step back and realize what is actually going on and what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah, that feedback is so meaningful.
Yeah.
And I think we should be pushing that envelope and asking like, why aren't we telling these stories? Why aren't we asking these questions? And better stories will come from those questions. Yeah,
definitely.
Thank you both so much for joining me on this podcast. It was really exciting to talk to you about issue 12, the piece that you wrote, and what this issue is going to look like overall. I think it's going to be really fantastic. If you are watching this, make sure to pick up your copy. It will be out so soon, and hopefully we'll see you at the pre-launch happy hour as well, which is always a super fun event where we get to connect with the people in Moore's network and talk about why we continue to do this and have intentional conversations just like this one. So thank you both so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time on Let's Talk More on Monday, and make sure to check out our Patreon mastermind classes as well. We will see you on the flip side, guys. Bye-bye.